Hello all, welcome to Microsoft SQL Server Analysis Studio session. My name is Amit Sharma and today I'm going to show you how to create named calculation. We'll take plenty of examples to understand various requirements where you need a named calculation. So let's get started. The easiest way to understand named calculation is something which you have been doing while writing SQL query. Well, I've already written an example over here. I'm going to calculate commission on top of sales, and commission is 5% of my sales as commission. So you see, commission is my virtual column which actually doesn't exist, but it gets calculated on top of your sales. This is the simplest example to understand named calculation. So why do we need it? Calculated members are members of a dimension or a major group that are defined based on combination of, you see you have a cube data. In this example, let's imagine your sales, your arithmetic operator you multiply, and your number 0.05, and this is an expression. The whole is called expression and this is called a label. So your calculated member consists of these three elements. It consists of combination of cube data, arithmetic operator, and numbers. Named calculations are virtual column. Without changing your underlying base system, base table, we can still perform a lot of calculation. Because when you work in enterprise data warehouse, you do not have control to modify your underlying source system tables, and therefore you can use virtual column to calculate on top of your tables. So the beauty of named calculations is that they get processed during processing of the cube. The advantage of named calculation over your database table column, the time of processing, they gets calculated at the time of processing rather than at the time of query. Therefore they are faster than your typical calculation. We could have created a database view rather than performing this kind of calculation on top of your SSAS data source view. Alternative, for example, rather than you perform a calculation in your data source view, you can create a view like this view name VW sales fact, as I could have written the same thing as well. So both the ways are possible. When you create database views, this has become database object, and often you do not have any control on database object. Therefore, in order to have a complete control, we can use named calculation. Named calculation consists of three elements, as I just explained you. It consists of your virtual column, name, which is commission, is a virtual column, and we don't have a description over here. We have a SQL expression, a valid SQL expression, right? Now, in order to understand named calculation, we'll see a couple of requirements. The first, before we start talking about the requirement, let's create a cube, and I'm going to use a sample data model called AdventureWorks. Let's get started. First, we'll create a project quickly, and I'm going to create SSAS multidimensional model, and my source would be, I right click and create my data source. My data source is remain SQL Server. I click next and continue to specify various parameters. I'm going to use AdventureWorks data warehousing 2008 R12 version. I go next, and I'm going to use service account. Rather than using window credential, I would prefer to use service account, and go next. I'll give a name over here called named query example, and let's go on. It is done. I would suggest you to test it before you proceed further. So open it, click on your connection string test part, edit connection string, and click on test. Your test succeeded. It means you're able to query your data source, right? Once database connection is ready, the next step is to create data source view. Data source view, all the calculation I'm going to write over here in a data source view. So right click and create new data source view. Just browse through this wizard, click next, select your required dimension and fact. What I do, I'll select a fact table over here called internet sales, fact internet sales, and there's an option called add related tables. So what add related table does, it figure out the list of foreign keys exist in your internet fact sales, fact internet sales, and correspondingly bring all the dimension they are directly related to. So it is your job basically. You click on add related tables and all these dimensions are directly connected to my fact table, fact internet sales. Go next, and that's it. I name it as named calculation. Click on finish and your model is ready. I prefer to see a graphical presentation of your tables, dimension and fact, which is your job. So your model is ready. We are going to write a named calculation on top of this. Let's get started. So the first requirement, see, your requirement is basically driven based upon the way your business user like to see the reports. In order to support this requirement, I have given a snapshot of the reporting requirement my business user want. The requirement is something like this. My business user like to see the promotion in percentage. Right now, the way promotion exists in my table is not relevant or it's not meaningful to my business user. Therefore, I like to display this in a percentage. Basically, this Excel sheet, this reporting requirement I have taken from my requirement sheet. When I start designing a SSAS cube, I also create a report wireframe called sample report, which helped me to understand exactly what my business user need at the end of the day. So I split multiple requirements. We'll talk about them, all of them step by step. So in one of my requirements, I like to display my tabular data, and one of the important column is discount. Let's see why can't I use discount directly like this. So one of my table called promotion table or dimension, I can right click and explore data. I see I already have a discount column over here, but the way data available to this discount column, discount percentage, it's not relevant to my user. So as a business user, when I look at this number, it gives me a misleading information. Therefore, what I do, I'll multiply with 100 and convert it in terms of percentage. So it's pretty easy. Right click and create new named calculation. Give a name over here. I'll call discount percentage and write an expression over here. It's pretty straightforward. I'll select the column name, which is discount PCT. Make sure you remember the column name correctly and multiply by 100. Okay, right click and test your data. Explore data. If you're able to pull data, it means your system is correct. Your expression is correct. So the way it is available into my source system is discount PCT. It is in decimal value. I multiply by 100 and now it is displaying in percentage. On top of this, when I create a report, I'll turn the format of this number as percentage symbol. So that's the first example, pretty simple. Let's see more example. In the next example, I like to display a promotion start date. My promotion start date is a date and time stamp, and therefore the way it is visible to the user, it's not very comfortable or business meaningful to them. Therefore, they wanted to display promotion start date as DD, month and year. This is the format they like to see. Well, in this example, I'm going to use a function called date name function, which takes two arguments, date part and date. Make sure the column you're passing over here should have a date type. So I use a basic expression over here, date name. First argument, I want data to be in DD from start date. Start date is one of my column, and month and year, and I concatenate them by plus, and in order to have a space, I use a comma symbol. I can use a comma or hyphen, whatever you want. Okay. Let's take this requirement and see how it works. So I date, promotion start date. I've got start date. This is my start date, but the way my data is visible in the date start date, it's not very comfortable. My business users are not very comfortable by looking at this data. So I'm going to create a calculative measure on top of that. You use the same approach. Right click and create named calculation. Give a name over here. I give a name called promotion start date, and write an expression over here. So my expression consists of, I need to concatenate I use date name, and the first expression would be, it consists of two arguments, in which format I want date, DD, and start date, right? then I concatenate, give a space, and again start date, month, and year. Right? Now let's see. It should be YY. Oh, it seems I have done some mistake. Let's check. Yeah, my plus symbol, plus is missing over here. That causes a trouble. It's okay. It is done. Now let's explore the data. So this is your promotion start date in my source table, but the way I wanted to display to my user in this format. Promotion start date 1st June 2005. So my report developer see this format, they find it more easy, more relevant to view. Let's see the next requirement. In third requirement, I'm going to display sales order description. Basically, when I pull data from ERP system, the sales order description is in certain format, and my business user are used to, they're comfortable looking in the sales order description in the same format. But in my underlying table, there is no such column called sales order description. So I need to make this column by concatenating a couple of other columns, right? So there are two columns we have. One is called sales order number, another one is called sales order line number. I'm going to stitch them, and this is the format in which my business user like to see sales order description. First, they like to see sales order number and from which line the sales order is processed. This is called point of sales. Sales order line number is nothing a point of sales. So this give a detailed information to my user. In order to achieve this, we use a function over here called convert, a casting function, type casting, which takes two arguments: data type, length, and expression and style. Right. So I'll pass two arguments over here. Char, it will extract first 10 character from a sales order. Then there is a string called line, and then again I take 4 character from sales order line number. Right. I can take the whole expression like this and copy and paste over here, there, or I can simple write there. So I would prefer to take our expression, just copy it, and I'm going to use this expression, sales order description, sales order number and description. Let's see. So sales order number, I can find it over here in my product. No, it's there in my fact table, sales order number and sales order line number, right? Before I process it, let me look at the sample data. This is my sales order number and sales order line number. This is my sales order number and sales order line number. I'm going to stitch them, concatenate them to make it meaningful to my user. Right click and add new named calculation, name it sales order description. I should have used a name as if my business user should be able to understand some meaning on top of that, right? I'm going to use convert function. Convert, the first argument is data type. I say char. I extract first 10 character from a sales order number, and then close this plus concatenate with my line, leave some space, plus concatenate with my convert sales order line number. That's it. Okay, now let's look at the explore data. Ensure the way we render this named calculation is correct. This is how my user would like to see. They would like to see sales order number and sales order line number, isn't it? This way you can concatenate multiple column into a single column. That's your requirement number 3. Let's see more requirements. In the next requirement, I'm going to display product line. Product line, basically the way it is given in my data source, they use an abbreviation, a first character like am, r, st. However, when I prepare a report on top of this, we would like to see complete detailed name. So in this example, we would convert the single character into complete description, like am for mountain, r for road. Also pay attention over here, we use a case statement over here in this example, a case statement. And product line is my column on top of which I'm going to design this computed named calculation. Let's see how it works. First I'll be querying my product table and show you how exactly my data is. So my product are single character. The name of my column is product line name. Let's see where is the product line name. Seems to be somewhere here only. Product line, right? And it's a one line character. See, it's a one character word. I would like to display a complete expression. So I'll create my named calculation on top of product line. Just right click on product, create new named calculation, name it. I give a name called product line description and write a case statement. Case product line, case when product, your product line, it's a product space line of line, yes, a one character. Line is, if it is am, then it's a mountain. In a similar fashion I write for other member as well. If am for mountain, as for road, r for road, as for accessories, and so on. And you close the case statement with and expression. I copy this and paste over here to shorten to speed up the. Click OK and let's test. Product line when. Let me see the text. Yeah, the product line should appear over here along with case. Now this is perfectly fine. Click on OK and right click and test your data. Explore. So rather than displaying a single character, I could see product line in the whole word. Product line description, component, if the value is null, else statement is component. Product line is empty, whenever it is empty, displays null. Whenever it is empty, displays component. Right? That's what it says. If it is not am, r, st, other than these four characters, if it found, it replaces with components. So that's fine. This is how we can use a case statement. A simple example of showing case statement. Wherever it is am, r, it displays as row. See this? R for road. Next we see another example, example number 5th. In this example I'm going to display the weight description. Now in my source system the weight description is empty some of the place, and blank, displaying blank value is misleading, and therefore my user do not feel much comfortable looking at the blank value. Therefore I want to replace the blank value with unknown. That makes sense. What I do, I have a column over here called weight. I'm going to design another column, named column, which is weight description. Wherever it finds blank, it will replace with unknown, which makes sense to my user. If it is not blank, I'll display weight, which is a numeric type. I have done typecasting over here with character 5. Let's see how it works. So I'll take a column over here. We have a weight. It seems it should be in my product. We have a weight, right? Right click and look at the sample data. We have a weight, right? It's empty, a blank. Now blank giving me misleading information to my user. I like to replace the blank with unknown. So right click and add a new named calculation. I would call weight description and write an expression over here, right? What is going to be my expression? It's going to be very simple case statement. If weight is null, display with unknown. If my weight is null, display as unknown, else do the typecasting, make it character 5 to the weight. That's it. Save it, and I can look at the sample data. Now you see one more thing, your named calculation display with a different symbol, right? This demonstrates their named calculation. Click on explore data, and therefore you find over here called unknown. Rather than displaying blank, it shows unknown. This makes sense to me. In one more column example, we have one column called status. A status is blank or status is current. As per the requirement, if a status is blank, it is considered as historical. If it is not blank, display as a status. So let me show you. Wherever blank value come, it's always a misleading, right? So I want to display some value instead of blank. So we have a column over here called status. Yeah, we have a column over here called status. Let's see, where is it? It should be my major. Or it should be my account. Let me check once. Where does it exist? Yeah, I have a status column in my product, right? Let's right click and explore data. So you have a status column over here which is blank. Now I'll replace blank with history. Wherever you have a blank, display with history. It is assumed. If it is not blank, it's current. If it is blank, call history. Okay. Let's write a case statement. I right click and create named calculation once again, and I call status description. Exactly same thing, case status when is null. I like to display with history, historical. When is null, then historical. Else display status only, and it, right? So I write status when status is null, then historical, else status. Okay, that's fine. Now look at the explore the data and see the output. So status is empty in many places, but it replaced with unknown. Status is current and status history. Wherever you see historical, it means the corresponding value in status is empty or a blank. Should be blank. Yeah, status is current and status description is current, right? Wherever status description is empty, blank, wherever it is blank, it is showing as historical. So in many of such requirement where your business user do not like to say blank, which give me a misleading information, you can use a case statement and make them meaningful format. The last two examples, I'm going to convert my data type into the way that makes sense to my user while they create report. So in my time dimension, we have got calendar and fiscal, right? I like to display my calendar quarter in very specific format. The way my business user want my calendar data to be displayed, calendar quarter to be displayed, they want it this way. Quarter three of calendar year, CY's calendar year, and 2005. They want calendar quarter to be in this format. If it were fiscal, they wanted like this: quarter 3, F5, fiscal year, and the year 2005. So they wanted it to be very clear while they create report on top of that. So I'm going to stitch this column, build this column on top of my couple of columns. There are two columns called calendar quarter and calendar year. Right? I'll select both of them and then concatenate them by plus symbol. I'll also add up one string called CY. So it will convert this. Right? Let's see. So how it's gonna be: quarter concatenate by calendar quarter, concatenate with a string called CY, and concatenate in turn with year. Let's copy it and paste in my time dimension and see how it works. So as of now, This is my time dimension, calendar quarter. Right click and my date. Yeah, dim date. This is my right click and export data, and you find over here I have quarters, calendar quarter and calendar year. Calendar year and calendar quarter, but that's 3, 4, 5. This is a numeric value which doesn't make much sense to my business user. Right? So what I do, I'll right click and create a new named query, named calculation, and I write an expression over here called calendar quarter. So it will take quarter Q, concatenate with calendar quarter, further concatenate with string CY, and then year. It takes first 4 characters of your year. Click OK and then explore data. So this is your calendar quarter, and the way I wanted to display in reporting section is quarter Q concatenate with 3, quarter 3, CY and 2005. In the last example, I'm going to do the same thing, but this time I'm using a semester, calendar semester. So if semester 1, then it is the first half year. If semester is 2, then it's the second half year. This is what my requirement is. So I use the case statement over here. If semester is 1, take H1 is first half year, concatenate with CY, calendar year, and then first 4 characters of your calendar year. If it is not, consider as a second half year. Let's take this expression, case statement, and create a new name query. So I've got calendar semester 2 and calendar semester 1. Right? Right click and add new calculation. I call this calendar semester description. Okay, and right click and show you the data. So this is this is your calendar semester, but the way I display second half year, my calendar year 2005, we concatenate these 2 columns with the string CY. So these are some basic example of named query. In our next session, we'll talk about more advanced example of how to perform allocation, calculation. There are a couple of more functional examples we are going to try, how to calculate YTD, more functional example from financial need, like how to calculate minority interest and complex quick ratio analysis. For today, that's it for today, and I'm going to stop my session over here, and your queries are welcome. Please do watch more videos and subscribe to our YouTube channel. Visit our site www.bispsolutions.com, and thanks for joining today's session. Have a good day ahead.